Hey, Todd here. A company sent me some ND filters and a circular polarizer that will go on the Osmo Pocket 3. So I'm out here at this, just down a ways from the studio here, this kind of cool old part of a train here. And we're gonna test out these polarizers, see if there's a color shift of any kind. We've got an ND8, an ND16, an ND32, and an ND64. So an ND8 is 3 stops, an ND16 is 4, ND32 is 5, and ND64 is 6. And it's got the circular polarizer, which is a great thing to have for this camera as well. And it usually drops, it'll take a stop or 2 stops off when you put that on. So it kind of works as an ND filter as well. But I don't use a lot of ND filters in what I do. I mean, sometimes you totally need them. Like on a beautiful bright day like it is today, it's still a little cold out, but a beautiful bright day and you want to keep that shallow depth of field, an ND filter is really what you need to help achieve that. So we've got this little cone set up right here. We're going to focus on that, and I put the Osmo Pocket into manual exposure-wise, the ISO to 100, and then I've put it to the boy, I forgot what they call the priority focus or whatever. Let me double check that real quick. Yeah, so it was the product showcase focus mode on this, so I can focus on something really front focusing and see how that works. Because right now, if I'm looking at the exposure on the camera on the Osmo, you can see here that it is super overexposed. I mean, it's just blown out. So we're going to put the ND filter on there, and we'll start with a 3-stop ND, the ND8, and figure out which one it is, which they're clearly marked on here so you can see that. So I'm going to drop that guy on the Osmo, and it's got the magnets on it just like the other filter that comes with it. Make sure it comes with a little focusing or a dust off lens cleaner here. It's a good idea to do that first. And then drop this guy on the Osmo right there. So it does have the nice magnet, so it just comes on and off pretty easy. And again, your fingers get all over these things because they're so small. Just drop it, put it right on here, and boom, it's locked right in. Magnet on, looks good. So now we'll see what our exposure looks like, and that is pretty dang good right there. Dropping at 3 stops. So again, I'm at ISO 100, and now we'll put this up against here, raise our tripod up a little bit, tip the gimbal up, and we're focusing on there. So let's do a little record right here. So this is with the ND8, which is 3 stops. So we're looking at the ND8 right now. Again, focused on the cone right here. And exposure looks pretty dang good. It does a nice thing in the sky too. We got a nice north-facing blue sky right now, which is just super saturated, which looks really good. So we're looking at that. Oh, my camera's blowing a little bit here. Hold that. So that's with the ND8 on there. Now I've got the ND16 on there, and looks good still. So it's looking good with exposure. Not much difference between the 3 stops and 4 stops, 1 stop difference. It's not really showing up on exposure wise, but this is the ND16 working now. So now we're going to switch to the ND32. Now we've got the ND32 on there. drop in the exposure now. I can see it's a little bit dark. I would probably open up just a touch on this, but it's looking really rich colors right now in there, which is really nice. So that's a little bit of the ND32, dropping us 5 stops. Now we'll go to the ND64. So we got the ND64 on now. I can see it's pretty dark now. So I would go in and manually, got a plane going overhead. I'd go in and manually bump up the ISO here. So hopefully, I don't know of a way to control the f-stop on this thing. And I know you can control the ISO and the shutter speed, but controlling the f-stop, I'm not sure if there's a way to do that. If somebody knows how to do that, it would be great to know that. So for the ND64, I just opened up a stop because it looks like the ND32 would have been probably what I was looking for exposure-wise here. So I opened up a little bit for the 64. Looks really good, still focused on the cone right here. And now I'm going to switch it back to auto just to get our base, and that way we can see what the color difference is and how the sky looks without having the ND filter on there. So I'm going to go back in here, swipe this guy over, take it out of manual, go back to auto exposure, take the ND filter off and shoot that. So now no ND filter on here, just getting our base exposure. Still looks really good. The sky looks really good, but now I want to see if the depth of field has really changed now that it's auto exposure, because I'm sure it's stopped down the aperture to compensate. So that's going to give me more depth of field here, and it's choosing what it wants since it's on auto, which I'm sure it's stopping way down to do that. So we got that. So we're going to head back to the studio and see how this is all looking. But before that, I'd like to see something where I can try the polarizer. Let me look around here real quick and see if I can find something to put the polarizer on and take away some glare and what it'll do to the sky as well. So I'm going to find that real quick. I found up on the side of the engine here, on these windows, I've got some glare of the power lines, which are over there coming off these windows. So I'm going to see if I can take this polarizer and make those go away by using the polarizer. And for this, I'm just going to keep the auto exposure. I just want to see how this polarizer works. So we're going to do that now. So in playing with this little polarizer, which is really cool, it's got a little spin knob on it here, and a little white line to show you when you're centered up on the top. And I found just in playing with this a little bit before I've come out here that it's better to get this thing, look through it with your eye and adjust this before you put it on the camera so you're not messing with the gimbal so much. So we're going to look at this, kind of look through here and then spin it and make sure it's working. Oh yeah, it takes it down. Okay, so that looks pretty good. So I'm going to put that on camera now. Put that like that. We'll do a little handheld action. So this is with the polarizer on, looking at these windows of this train. And now we're going to take the polarizer off and shoot it again and see what the difference is in these windows right there. So that should be a pretty good test too, because it'll show the sky being polarized as well. So let's go back to the studio and have a look-see at what we got. Back in the studio, after looking at the footage, everything looks really good. I just want to do a side-by-side comparison now to see color change and definitely be able to see, hopefully, I mean, from what I've seen already, I could see the depth of field change, but with the side-by-side, we'll be able to really see the changes and if there is a color change at all. And then we can look at the reflection up close on how the Polarizer did on that as well. So let's do some side-by-sides. So we got our base exposure, no filter, auto exposure on the left, and our ND8, the 3-stop on the right. And I have this is straight out of the camera, no saturation adjustment, no exposure adjustment, no color adjustment, nothing. This is just straight out of the camera. And you can see the ND8, the 3-stop's a little bit hot. But you can definitely see on the right over here on the ND8 that it's soft in our background. So the depth of field is really staying where we want it. And then you've got, again, on the right, the ND32, which is a much better exposure there. That's probably where I would go with, and I'm really liking the shallow depth of field. Again, on our left is the base exposure. Here we've got the working with the Polarizer. You can see on our left here, you can see the power lines in the window, and on the right, the Polarizer takes it right out. So that worked really great. And the color didn't really change at all, or the exposure looks perfect right on both of them. After looking at the side-by-sides, no color shift at all that I could see. So that's really nice. And the optics are good. It didn't, make the image look blurry or anything. So that was really nice. Didn't affect anything of that nature. So really good. And on this is the little package. They come in the little box that the little open up thing. And on the top of each filter, it's got the ND32, 64, all of that. The Polarizer works really well also. I ended up with 10 of these sets. So I've got a few to sell if you want one. I'll sell you one for 35 bucks, mailed out the door. So you can put it in the comments below if you'd like one. We can do Venmo, PayPal, credit card, whatever. And I'll put my email down there. So if you want a set, they're really good. Worked really, really, really well. And so now I've got 9 of them to get rid of now. Yeah, and I've never sold anything on YouTube or anything before, so I don't have a store or anything like that set up. It's kind of a new thing for me. But yeah, they worked really good. In this company, Huaco Technologies is where they came from. Yeah, they're really nice. Worked really good, look good. I'm happy with them, and they're in the case now where I keep all my Pocket 3 accessories. So yeah, let me know if you want one. Have any other comments, leave it below. And as always, appreciate you watching. Until next time, I am out.